reflection upon the issues of law and grace many hundreds of years later. Yet, despite the community's inability to admit where they finally got the text, we are called on to submit ourselves to the inspired truth. Canonical criticism would say that Deuteronomy was a result of a community's reflection hundreds of years later. But then we're told it's from Moses. Is canonical criticism inadequate? It ignores historical particularity. That is, the fact that communication always occurs in a particular historical content. It looks at the text without considering that content. And secondly, it ignores the rule of Bible interpretation, which requires that a text have a valid meaning for the author and the intended audience. In canonical criticism, the text may have one meaning for one community and a different meaning for another community. Oswalt expresses his concern this way: if we evangelicals have for too long ignored the wholeness of biblical books in our preoccupation with proof text and promises and with proving the historical statements correct, let us not now veer into the opposite ditch with an unhealthy dismissal of historical content. In that canonical criticism calls us to interpret a book in no less than its literary wholeness, it is a most welcome development. Furthermore, in that it challenges us to consider the significance of the way in which books and collections of books are arranged, it is commendable. However, in that it suggests that we can now bypass the vexed questions relating to the historical validation of the revelation, it is dangerous. For further consideration, two questions that occurred to me as I considered this material. First of all, it seems that canonical criticism appeals to Jewish scholars as well as Christian theologians. And one example I found was Joseph Blinkensop's book, Canon and Prophecy, which deals with the Hebrew canon. And secondly, I'm wondering, and this is a question for Brother Brickle, is there a link between the canon and monotheism? I ran across several incidental references to monotheism in my research of canonical consideration. I trust that I've given you some information that is valid, has been helpful. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to deal with them by email. Thank you, and may the Lord bless you.